All right, we're live. Back at it. Episode 28, Six Sense Podcast. I go by the name of Jude, aka JK, aka J Swish, aka The Praise, aka I Flick 'em Up, Flick It Up, aka Juden Laden, aka the habitual line stepper, aka Young Al Kiji, aka the number one random Ingram stand, aka Club Rona veteran, aka top tier load manager, aka Judica, aka Wop aka I don't do the jewel, but I act a fool with a mouse tool, aka I'm not from here, I just get it done here.
Was there any new ones this time?
Nah, I didn't have anything this time.
Man, hey, you were on a streak adding a new one every single episode. Hold on, let me pull my AKs up. It's good, y'all. It's Rin, aka Mr. Beater Dooney's down, aka Diet Drake, you feel me? Aka what was the next one? AKA Regiment I get the Franklin, aka Professional Demon Fighter. You know how we get it done here, man. Do it.
All right, y'all, what's good? It's Sekou, aka the Firstborn, aka Frozone, aka Merch, aka New Chris Bosch, aka New Ray Kage, aka Sekou, and you know I always stay cool.
Oh man, we got a special guest in the building. You wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to follow up with three ice cold killers like that, but I guess I'm Mikey, aka Diet Nav, aka Broke as a Joke, aka Out Here Surviving and Thriving, aka that's about it. Yeah.
Off the dome.
That's about it right now.
Off the dome.
AKA surviving off that unemployment.
Money.
You know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You know, before we get into topics, we usually like talk about like our personal stories, kind of catch up on like what we've been doing personally. So if you want to just talk about like what you've been doing lately, what you've been up to.
Yeah, man. Well, it's definitely been tough graduating straight into a pandemic, and like this job market is fucking atrocious. This shit is real. This is not smooth, but I just been doing like little community grassroots work. Like I did a resource drive for the students in my area. We were able to give out 130 backpacks, which was hella smooth. And I've also been like working on a resolution to get racism passed as a public health crisis in my school district that I went to high school in, which that's been like some solid work. But other than that, just waiting for this 2K21 to drop, because I'm cold with the sticks. And once that shit drops, and watching them Lakers on their way to another chip, because that's gonna happen. I know the Warriors and Clippers fans are all in collusion with each other, but them niggas ain't nothing. We ain't even worried about them.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the Lakers in a minute, but let me catch y'all up what I've been doing. Recently, I slipped up. Niggas caught me slipping. I was a couple friends came by my house and said, hey, let's go for a joyride real quick. I said, cool. One thing led to another. I'm seeing homegirl. She didn't have a mask on, but I didn't think anything of it. And then this happened last week, 2 weeks ago. And then the next week, so now this is last week, she hits me up like, oh, I actually had COVID. And I didn't know at the time. I didn't know at the time. So I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, yeah. So like, and I got this text as I'm walking, because I'll be walking. I'm walking around and I got this as I'm walking. So I'm like, I'm just like
devastated.
I'm devastated, right? So I walk back home and I'm sitting in my bed, like trying to feel something. Like, is there like something going on right now? Like, am I good? And and so that I get tested on Tuesday, and it comes back negative. I got the test on Thursday. It came back negative. So I was like, but I was like, maybe it let me know. It reminded me that no one's safe. That's really the lesson I got from this. Like, yeah, no one is safe, man. Like, just because your friends doesn't mean that doesn't mean you're safe. So.
Yeah,
that's what I learned from that experience.
Hey man, one thing about Jude is he's always gonna be walking.
Pandemic or not.
Jude loves going on walks. Like, this is one thing I've learned over the past couple months. Jude is always taking a walk. But yeah, man. For me, what's been going on? So I'm doing research, or hopefully I'm doing research. For my honors thesis for poli-sci. So I just reached out to some professors, and luckily I actually got two professors to approve me. So one of them is a sociologist, one of them is a political scientist. You know, it's been going great for real. Like, they're really cool people. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think I already talked about my research in the last episode in my little intro. But yeah, so it's really coming through. And yeah, I'm excited about that. But other than that, Madden 21 dropped for everybody who pre-ordered it. So I got this little thing called Origin Access Premier. So I pay $100 a year, and I get every game like 2 weeks free, and I get like the deluxe version, which is like $100 normally. So I got Madden. I'm grinding my shit out. So I played yesterday for like damn near like 8 hours, bro. Like I was no life in it. So but I'm really waiting for that 2K, like Mikey said. Because, 2K is my shit, but, Madden's going to hold me over until then.
Feel that.
What about you, Sekou?
For me, it's been a slow week, except for the NBA restart and Champions League. I've been watching soccer the last, 10 years, and I saw that jersey, but there's a rival right now, bro. Like, I like Barcelona, so I saw that, and I was like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Let him say his piece. But last week, Barcelona took the L, all right? They lost 8-2. I don't know if y'all saw that in my story, but 8-2 is demolishing. It's demoralizing. They fired the coach.
Oh, they did?
They fired the coach. He's gone.
Hey, you think Messi's leaving?
He wants to leave. He wants to leave, so.
Yeah, but we've done this tons of times with Messi. Like, this isn't the first time we're hearing this with Messi of, like, rumors of, like, him leaving.
Bro has won so many trophies, but is a sore loser, bro. Like, that's the only thing I don't like about him.
He's a big ass sore loser for sure, bro.
Ronaldo would take the L. Yeah.
You saw the Copa America, I think that really hurt him a lot when he lost twice to Chile, bro. Like that broke his spirit. Like he's decorated as fuck, but once that shit happened to him, I knew like he's just a different man now. He's hurting.
Especially his World Cup struggles, like he couldn't win in 2014. I was like, this might be it for him.
That team was stacked though. I can't even cap, bro.
Exactly.
That team was stacked. I'm surprised they went to extra time in that one. I'm not even gonna lie. But his teammate blew the open goal. I ain't forget. So.
And they get paid too much to miss those shots.
They do, bro.
But it was probably pressure. Because that's the world stage right there. God. But yeah, enough about me. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Oh no, Mike already did his, bro.
Like, damn, let me go do some more work. I'm like, damn.
Psych.
Let me go get into some more shit, bro. Cause I guess I was.
Hey, forget that.
Mikey, so I saw you tweet about like starting up a Patreon and like potentially starting up a podcast. I know you're putting a pause on it, but what's all that about?
Yeah, I was thinking about starting a podcast and a Patreon, just like centering Black history that we hadn't really learned, like even in the academy, bro. Because the most wild shit ever was that I went through all like 5 years of undergrad and didn't learn about Assata Shakur until after I graduated, or like I didn't really learn about like Fred Hampton and shit until after I graduated. So it's just like, if a nigga like me who's in school, who's paying for this education, isn't learning shit that's relevant to him, like imagine like that the people who don't have access to education and stuff like that. Like I'm just trying to put people on to like the history that really matters. But I'm just gonna take a break on that right now, really get recentered, treat myself after the graduation, because I feel like I've been kind of on go mode since I've been graduated. So yeah.
Definitely.
That's what's up, man. That's like a really rewarding thing that you're doing right there. Can help out a lot of people, but for sure, respect your choice to take a break, because I have seen like you've been doing a lot of your shit after graduating, and props to you for that.
Yeah, but it's time to chill, man. It's time to really just nigga, I graduated from one of the whitest places in the world. It's time to recenter and just get back on. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important what you're doing, because like you're getting, academia basically accessible to people that don't get to be in those spaces. So I really hope you fall through with it, bro. Like I'll definitely support.
Appreciate it. Hell yeah.
So let's get into these topics, man. We got the big one, man. Biden and Kamala being the ticket for 2020. So here it is, man. What are your takes? What are your opinions? Any comments?
Cop Mala, not Kamala. Cop Mala.
Top Mahala.
That's the incarceration ticket right there.
Honestly, I'll go first, man. Like, I was looking at this ticket, like, even like from an electorally standpoint, like electoral standpoint, just looking at trying to get votes out, it doesn't make sense that Biden would pick Kamala. Like, I knew she was the best one out of the group, but it's like, but Kamala's from California. Like, you're gonna win Cali, regardless. Like, I don't see how that's gonna get you more votes. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, identity is great. We want to, we want people in these spaces. Representation is important, but it's like, but yeah, Kamala is representing California, and you're not gonna get more people if you're gonna get a person from California. You know what I mean? So even from an electoral standpoint, not even from like a politicking standpoint, just electorally, like it doesn't even help you, bro. Like, and we can get deeper into politics and stuff.
See, I get what you're saying about like we like to see representation, right?
Yeah.
And obviously Kamala isn't the best representation.
Right.
But for me, bro, as a I don't call myself an Indian American, Punjabi American, technically from India. I hate my representation, bro. Honestly, for myself, I'm like, the less y'all represent Indians, the better for me, because all of our representation is terrible, bro.
I see. I think I saw your tweet.
Yeah, bro. Who's that one dude from like the net neutrality shit? The motherfucker that was trying to end net neutrality.
Ajit Pai.
Ajit Pai, yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that? What kind of bullshit is that? You gonna make people pay for internet, like different websites? It's just stupid to me, bro. Like Kamala is God, bro. Like it's awful. Like every single bit of representation we have in politics or whatever it is just shows our privilege, you know? It just shows like people feeding into the model minority myth, people that like look for like white approval and shit, which is honestly what I feel like Kamala is doing with a lot of her policies. So yeah, that's my take on it. I just hate my own representation. I'm just like, fuck representation, throw that out the window. All I want is politics.
Yeah, I think Kamala's like what you were saying, Jude, is that like I don't think it was to get more like leftist votes, bro. I think Kamala was a big move to try to get those sway voters, which is why like I don't think Biden the Kamala ticket is kind of like for like that's why I'm personally not gonna vote, because I'm not gonna vote for an imperialist who created the drones alongside Obama to blow the fuck out the Middle East, which is not smooth. And I'm also gonna not vote for a cop who denied trans women the right to like go into women's prisons, which is just like basically killing them off. And I just think that like them picking a cop, like Biden picking a cop as his VP, just shows that like that Democrats and Republicans at the end of the day are still both Blue Lives Matter, and that like Biden's kind of trying to convince all the people on the right that like, look, like I still support the police. I'm still finna be like out here supporting the sheriff and shit like that. So it was more for them. It wasn't even representation for us. It was to get the people on the right to come back to the center, which is I don't fucking support. That's just weak.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Like I thought of it as just like cop solidarity type shit, but I didn't think of it as like leftists trying to show that they still care about blue lives. But that's a good point for real. But terrible, bro. Terrible decision.
Yeah, Kamala was against body cameras, but go ahead, Sekou.
I'm personally not a fan of Biden. He should not have got the nomination since the beginning. And we've seen time and time again that Trump is not going to be the answer. And Biden is going to appeal to the moderates and the left. And they're not going to identify with him anyway, because we want Sanders. And then for him to have offered the crime bill, and then select Kamala as his running mate, now you look for him, and it just shows him going back on his word. And it's just pretty much class solidarity, because I was watching a bunch of speeches from the convention last night, and people came out of everywhere, like Hillary Clinton came out of hiding, came out to support him. Tulsi Gabbard, not Tulsi Gabbard, Gabby Gifford, excuse me. She came out and supported Biden. And it just shows that they're going to be only out for themselves, you know. And he had Obama coming up and talking about life, learning, pursuit of happiness in front of like the Constitution. So like really like,
oh man,
like symbolic. I'm like, bro, what? And let me tell you, my mom was eating it up. I was like, I can't watch this, but like,
oh man,
it's our generation, and people listening, but I don't have hope for the future right now.
the man Biden chose Kamala as we just had police brutality protests, which are still going on, by the way. It's still going on to this day. And you choose Kamala, who is the opposite of what we're protesting about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then, like you said, going on the DNC, like, they're appealing to moderates. They're appealing to, you can even argue Republicans, conservatives, because they had a bunch of Republicans on that DNC convention. They had Kasich, they had Colin Powell from the Bush administration, you know, and they're just, it's getting out, they've been out of touch. They're getting a lot of celebrities in there doing songs. It's so weird. Songs, you're doing, during a pandemic, you're all doing these songs and performing, like, come on. Billy Porter was doing a song, and I was just like, come on.
And some shit that makes me hella mad too is that like they really dead ass went on to recess to do this DNC, do the RNC in the middle of a time when niggas is hungry, bro. Like y'all are telling niggas to be excited about a vote, pack your lunch to go to the polling places. Like, who's gonna want to vote when you don't even got money to eat, my nigga? Like that shit is dead.
Bro, you go ahead.
I just had one comment. It was kind of off topic, but I don't know why the DNC hasn't completely like dissociated themselves from Bill Clinton of all people, bro. Like people always criticize the '94 crime bill on the debate stage, but here he is at the DNC giving a whole speech in support of Biden. Like, bro, the main reason why people hate Biden is the '94 crime bill, and then y'all gonna have him up there. Like, number one, why support Bill Clinton? But number two, if you were supporting Bill Clinton, like it just doesn't make sense. Like that's Biden's number one weak point electorally, because you know people say that Biden appeals to black voters, which statistically is true. But the number one thing that stops black people from voting for him is the '94 crime bill. So I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Anything? Damn, I don't even watch the DNC. I'm not gonna lie. I just caught a few speeches because I was watching the playoffs. Trying to save myself from the sanity. I was getting my brain racked by Frank Vogel's lines, but we're gonna talk about that later on. But I mean, I was watching the DNC on Twitter, just a couple speeches, and I was seeing that Michelle Obama was saying, "Oh, we're gonna go vote, and then we're gonna have, and if it means going out there for breakfast, lunch, we're gonna pitch tents." And I was like, "Bro, what? This is what democracy has come to? We gotta
I'm not doing that
in a pandemic? Nah, bro, get out, nah."
Nah, I ain't doing that.
Oh man. And there were so many things like on Twitter, like I seen Elizabeth Warren with the BLM thing in the background, the alphabet soup, and people really actually applauded her for that.
Oh my God,
so low.
Bare minimum. That's bare minimum right there.
Yeah, the bar's below sea level right now, man. Niggas are just getting applauded for doing literally below the bare minimum. Like you're gonna do it in kindergarten, little school letters. Like at least if you go do it, like shout. Why you whispering for? Like damn.
And then what was another? There's so many things I've seen. Like I heard now. I don't know if you remember. Elizabeth Warren was in that Native American scandal where she kept claiming she's Native American, and then it came back and she wasn't actually like that Native American, And then here she was on a panel for Native Americans at the DNC. Like, do they even?
That's beyond me.
I was like, yo.
Another reason I think that they chose Kamala as like the VP ticket is because the Democrats, I feel like they've mastered like the whole like illusion of choice and the illusion of representation, bro. Because Kamala Harris, she went to a HBCU and she was in a sorority. And I don't know if y'all have been paying attention on Twitter, bro, but like all the HBCU heads are hella proud, like hella happy that like Kamala got picked. And this was something that Malcolm X was talking about a while ago in one of his speeches when he said that, like, black people are like we're the ones who decide the vote, basically, because whoever like basically earns the black vote most of the time is going to win the election. But you see, as soon as this election is over, like, we put them first, like, we vote for them first, but then as soon as they're voted in, they put us last. So I think them deciding Kamala, like, she's a first black woman VP candidate, and she's from an HBCU. Like, obviously they kind of mastered that. Like, look, we give y'all something, like, just vote for us already. Damn, like, what more do y'all want? And I think that's the message they chose her as well too.
Sure.
Shit. We also got anything else on the ticket? Anything else DNC wise?
I don't know. I guess I want to talk about Bernie real quick. It's like,
yeah? Okay.
I feel like a lot of progressives also talk about like Bernie is like the be all end all and like the savior of America and stuff. And it's like, even Bernie isn't perfect. Like, you can't put all your trust in the old white man. Like, sure, he's the rest of his rights, but come on now, you can't put all your trust in one person. And Bernie is also bound to fuck up at some point. Like, I'm sure even if he got elected, he would fuck up, and we can't put all our eggs in one basket. Like, this is an institutional problem, and it can't be solved by one person. Yeah, that's all I want to say on Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie still is, at the end of the day, a capitalist. I mean, social democracy is not socialism. It's social democracy, to put it in layman's terms, is a heavy regulated version of capitalism, right? It's just a bunch of regulations on Wall Street and a huge, huge, huge safety net for people, which is pretty good, but it's not. We're getting rid of capitalism at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was disappointed in AOC getting like 90 seconds. That was a bit. I mean, I wasn't surprised, but damn, 90 seconds. Damn, like you're really.
Wasn't it just a?
That's all she had.
Yeah, just 90 seconds, and then all these Republicans get talking time, like. But I guess we can seep more into like now. Just we can discuss about voter shaming and just people finding reasons to vote for Biden in general. Because I was looking on Twitter, and look, my argument is there's nothing redeemable about Biden. Like, there's nothing to vote for Biden. So when I see people bring up, and I've seen people bring this up, I think even Ren, I think you did it too, and I didn't agree with it. Where you both got up like the cabinet. Well, all right, Biden's like not cool, but there's also the cabinet too. But my thing is, yeah, the cabinet, like, we still have to like think about the cabinet. But the thing is, number one, we don't vote for who's going to be in the cabinet, right? And secondly, if you look at what Obama was doing, I don't know if people know about this, but in the 2008 election, a month before, people on Wall Street were sending him emails about who to put in his cabinet. So basically, that cabinet was all Wall Street backed, all that stuff, and Obama put those people in that cabinet. I'm not confident that Biden is going to do that same thing with the cabinet. I feel like I'm looking at it like it's going to be corporate. So my thing is, like, you can still vote for Biden, but just know there's nothing redeemable about that guy. Like, there's nothing. That's my take.
Makes sense. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is definitely going to be Wall Street backed, and there's definitely going to be Wall Street influences. My take is mainly having to do with like what's your name? Shorty, that's like the education chair or whatever, Department of Education. Yeah. People like her, you know, that are just like money outside of public schools. Like, that's a blatant move away from like what we should be doing, and it's like putting money. Which, I mean, Democrats, they're not necessarily putting stuff into resources. They're just like not necessarily taking stuff out. You feel me? Like, the boss is just the opposite of what we need. And while Biden won't give us what we need in terms of that, like, maybe there's a chance of him not taking it away. Was my thing. I definitely don't think his cabinet's going to be like crazy different from what Trump's cabinet is. At the end of the day, he is still a right-leaning individual. Not even right-leaning. He is right on the right.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely get what you're saying.
You guys got any takes on like just people
for like his people being marginally better? But yeah. How do y'all feel about like the Supreme Court argument?
On like selection?
Yeah.
I mean, recently we just had Brett Kavanaugh appointed by Donald Trump, despite his rape controversy, and I had the Me Too movement also. So I'm curious to see what Biden is going to do with finding a replacement for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's like on her last legs, and she's having a bunch of health scares. And I feel like with her out the picture, or at least someone to replace her, and to help her, we'll have a stronger presence in the judicial branch for the left. And yeah.
And I don't know, man. The judicial branch is just such a I feel like they don't. I don't want to say impact, but it's like you don't feel it. So it's like it's hard for me to well, the judicial branch is cool. I think my only thing is well, not so much Supreme Court, but more like the lower level judges. You're gonna because I think you can still appoint judges.
Right.
I feel like I hope that Biden would actually start appointing judges like Trump was doing. But Supreme Court, that's such it's because it's a federal thing. It doesn't really, it's so hard to. And most of these cases, you look at it, they're voting on gay marriage, they're voting on, trans rights and things like that. It's like, damn. I would hope that. I guess my point is that I think it's hard for people to really understand how impactful the Supreme Court is, and I think that's why people are like, so what? That's my thing on it.
See, my take on that whole judicial branch is that although there's gonna be somebody on the left, on the right, or on the right to appoint judges, these judges all took a vow to uphold the Constitution, which I like to consider myself having a radical politic, but if you no matter what kind of face or what kind of identity is on the judge, they're all working to uphold the system that was created by a room full of white men in 1776. So it's no matter which judges we put in place, can they really change this piece of paper that the people who made the Constitution's identity made to uphold? Because they did that shit for a reason. They made that shit hella strong. They ratified that shit, reinforced it through that's why this empire has been going on for bro, centuries, bro, and it all leads back to that Constitution. So as somebody who's not gonna vote or who doesn't support this two-party system or the left or the right per se, I just think that we got to take it back to the roots of this shit. And can that really change that much? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. My thing on it is people talk about how Trump got Brett Kavanaugh appointed, right? But then Biden was also, shaming Anita Hill. So I don't know. In terms of stuff like that, Biden might fucking get appoint an abuser for a judge as well. At the end of the day, that's still very likely to happen. I mean, Biden himself is likely an abuser. He's been accused multiple times. So yeah, I feel that argument is kind of weak. But and how Jude, how you said it is hard to really tell what the Supreme Court is doing for us.
Yeah.
Unless of course you are if you're LGBTQ,
Right.
then you have a more direct feeling. You more directly understand that, and I feel that's why a lot of people that identify as such do choose to vote for Biden, although they are some people that hate Biden the most.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really just a tricky situation because how can you morally vote for someone so corrupt and so fucked up as a human? But then you also have to worry about people who don't identify the same way as you. I don't know.
You see, that's why the thing that worries me though is if you look at the because these politicians can say whatever they want, but if you look back at Kamala's record, her denying trans women's their rights as women, that's something you got to take. People always talk about Pence when he did that the gay conversion. He believes in gay conversion therapy, but if Kamala is out here really preventing trans women from being in women's prison, which I don't believe in prison anyway. I think those need to be abolished, and we need to not reform, but abolish and find something new. But she did that. If you look at these people's track records, Biden was one of the biggest supporters of the crime bill, and that affected trans people just as much as any other identity. So it's just tough, man. That's a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and bro, see, I like how you brought up the not allowing trans women to be in women jails, and then you see Kamala Harris on social medias, like her bio has like she, her, hers, but it's like, bro, like you're just doing this for show at this point. Like you're just co-opting the left's language. You're co-opting the left's usage of like I don't know, pronouns, even though you didn't respect them at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you were saying, it is really just the Democratic Party just being masters at, lying and gaslighting to their voters.
Yeah, because they'll gaslight. It's crazy how they'll gaslight people who like choose not to participate in a system that's not for them. Like it's not like we're choosing not to participate and just being like letting our destiny just fall like into the hands of whoever. It's like there's niggas that are outside of this system that are doing the work, and like it's just shit that you don't really see. You know, it's like you don't really see the like Black Trans Travel Fund, which is like organized by this Black trans man named Eli, and you just don't see shit like that because this propaganda machine is working overtime to get you to buy into and believe this system. So it's just tough because a lot of people don't get to see what people who are for us are actually doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a tough one for sure.
I think an important thing to remember is that we have someone like AOC who's in the spotlight now, who's like laying the groundwork for grassroots working people doing the work, hard work now to lay the path for people in the future. I hope to see more grassroots workers like this in Senate in the coming years. And if Biden is elected, that could help. But if Trump gets reelected, that will dramatically stunt us even further and hinder progress. So while it seems like we have to settle, it's kind of disheartening because it kind of takes away our like choice, especially for a party that names itself after the democratic system. And it's really hypocritical, especially to nominate Kamala and Biden. And hopefully we see these champions of the future.
100%.
100%. I got something more of like a discussion thing. So like, I think you guys have all seen it on Twitter. Basically, I want to talk about voter shaming and basically like the question of like, is the no vote is a vote for Trump like accurate? Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So just talk about like voter shaming and if you think that quote no vote is a vote for Trump, is that a real thing? Is that
No vote is just no vote, especially if you're in California. Like these people that are tweeting this shit are in California. Your vote pretty much doesn't matter, bro. Like real shit, your vote pretty much doesn't matter.
Mhm.
So unless you're voting for like local elections do matter. But in terms of like for the president, bro, our votes are going to whoever the Democratic candidate is, whether it's like Tom Steyer, Joe Biden, fucking dude from New York who is running, Bloomberg. Like our vote is whoever the Democratic candidate is. So
Yeah, I agree with you, Ren, how it's just like, yeah, our vote really in California doesn't matter for the presidency. But I think that if you do like shift your focus towards local politics, that's really where your vote can make an impact, bro, because a lot of these, like, you can vote on propositions and you can vote on laws that really affect you directly. Because, like, I believe that no matter who's the president of the United States, they're going to do president shit. And it just makes me mad that the first people want to vote shame is black people, bro. It's like, go talk to your racist cousin who's out here being like a diehard Trump supporter. Go talk to your racist auntie or your racist friends. Why y'all gotta come for us first when you got hella people in your circle that you can go for, bro? Like, they're right there, and they've been right there. So stop coming for us, for real.
Facts. Take you gotta take. Thank you.
Oh, excuse me. I feel like vote shaming is becoming like a lot more popular because it's like a lot easier. It's almost like if you're not voting, like why aren't you like using your civic duty? Like we fought for this right to vote, but now I'm gonna waste it on Biden. Are you for real now? Like hear yourself right now. Like years ago, like we have like Biden's like championing women's suffrage for white women, suffrage barely for black people, but then wasted. Now having to not vote as a vote for Trump doesn't make any sense because You're just not voting. You're not gonna impact anything because you're not voting. And if anything, you should influence other people to vote for the party you support. But shaming people to not voting and thinking Trump's gonna win because you don't vote is kind of like ignorant.
Yo, I had a talk with this one, like a short talk with a friend of mine, and shout out to Angela Sigler. We were just talking about this exact quote, like, no vote is a vote for Trump. And she was telling me, like, I didn't even think about it. Like, you can't assume that every non-voter is going to vote for a Democrat. Like, there's people out there that, Republican voters feel, there's some Republican voters that are out there like, yo, like, I'm not voting. Because, like, I see Trump, or, Trump has left me behind. I realize Trump is a bad guy, and I'm definitely not going to vote for Biden, so I'm not voting. So there's definitely non-voters out there that are also, Republicans. So people have to think about that. And then I also, for me, I was looking at this quote and I'm like, you gotta realize that the popular vote, like you can't voter shame. Like this is obviously voter shaming, right? That quote is voter shaming. And then you look at it like 2016, the voting system messed up the entire election, pretty much, right? People are getting purged from voter rolls. And then obviously the electoral college, right? That messes up the voting process too, because it should be one man, one vote, a popular vote. That should be it.
Yeah.
But you see the popular vote, Hillary wins by 3 million, but Trump is winning the electoral college. So really, it's not even on the voters. The voters did their part. We beat Trump by 3 million votes, and you're still gonna complain to us that we're apathetic, that we don't care about this election?
Yeah.
Like that's where they lost me.
And they do, like, that's like kind of a privileged take, telling somebody to go vote too, because like if you've been noticing the trend on how like the polling places are working for poor areas, it's like in poor areas the polling places, there's like one polling place for like a certain amount of people, but if you look in these like affluent white neighborhoods, they got a polling place like damn near on every corner like it's a damn Starbucks. Right. So it's just like, it's just not fair how y'all are expecting poor and black folks to do all the labor for the system that's holding us down, and just for your gratification or your moral victory, that's the thing that really makes me mad about voter shaming too. Like it's a privilege take.
Cool. One thing I read about like the electoral college is that like people in Wyoming, voters in Wyoming, have like more than 100 times the voting power that a single person in California does. Which is blatantly like racist at the end of the day, because you look at California, we're the most diverse state in the country, and the fact is that most of the more populous states are the most diverse states.
Yeah,
people in those states have the least amount of power behind the vote. And you got motherfuckers from like Oakland, Wyoming, wherever else getting all these votes, like, or getting all this power behind their vote. It just doesn't make sense. The whole system is designed to hold back black and brown folks.
And you said you're a poli-sci major, right? So I something I've always found interesting is how come every state only gets 2 senators? Like, doesn't that kind of make like, I know like to balance out the state powers and some shit like that, but like I think that like not every state deserves equal, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't think every state deserves equal power. If you got like 50,000 people in your state, like damn, that's like my city has 100,000, so it's like why did they get as much power? You know how that works, Lynn? How's that work?
Yeah, so I mean, the reason behind it is like they want states to have equal power because the Congress is supposed to give people equal power, which we know it doesn't. Like the Congress in California has like 55 votes, I believe, and Wyoming has like 2 or something. But even that is just not proportional. So in theory, it would work a little bit more and it would balance more if the Congress was actually proportional. But it's not, and it hasn't been for hundreds of years. Like it's been very unproportional. So it's just putting power in states' hands when the power needs to be in people's hands. Honestly, the whole American system, up and down, is just way more complicated than it should be. Like our tax code, we got 100 different ways to tax people for just a few different things that are like being allocated inefficiently. Like just simplify that shit. Like, we have a staggered tax code. Why don't you just make it progressive? Like, I don't know. The whole thing is it just doesn't make sense. America complicates things a lot more than it should. And because we are this like world power and shit, and it's been institutionalized for so long, honestly not possible to change unless it's completely, erased.
Yeah.
Why, at the end of the day, to get substantial change in this country, you need more or less a revolution.
Yeah, because I never got that, bro. I'm like, damn, California has 2 states, and then like New England has 2 senates, and then California has 2 Senate seats. And if I'm correct, Senate seats have more power than congressional seats.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that shit is just doesn't make any sense, bro. That is like that's wild. That's wild as hell.
Bogus.
Yeah. My thing is, for a while now, I was just thinking like, bro, like I think we should just the Senate should not even exist. It just should be like House of Representatives. That's it. That's it. Just House of Representatives. That's really the best way to do it, honestly, from an electoral standpoint, obviously. Not the radical politics. Not that's not the radical politics speaking. That's just electorally speaking. Do away with the Senate. That's me. I was on Twitter and I was seeing like the reason why I brought this up was because I seen on Twitter like this is white person and he was on Twitter like, yo, the post office is like crumbling because now I can't even get my medicine because I depend on the USPS to deliver my medicine. So F all you protest voters from 2016. Now it's on you guys. So I'm like, bro, the anger is misplaced here, my guy. So I just hope
it's not just Trump either who's been like defunding the post office. Like that's something that's been going on since like Obama administration, and I haven't looked that back into it, but I'm sure like the Bush administration too. Like I'm pretty sure they've slowly been because they're both capitalist parties, so they both believe in privatization. So they're gonna try to shift towards their donor class, whatever they want to happen. Since what's his name, old dude from Amazon.
Bezos.
Yeah, Bezos. He controls like this whole like distribution shit. So
Right.
he got Democrats and Republicans in his pocket. So at the end of the day, privatization of the USPS is going to just make his pockets fat as can be, man. Like, and that's just unfortunate. That's what's happening.
And on Twitter, like it really just makes me mad because like people always talk about, man, fuck the system, blah blah blah. But then when it comes to voting specifically, then it's, oh, the protest voters did this. Oh, why don't you go and vote? That's bro, we have all this smoke for the system, but when it talks about voting specifically, and you guys blame the voters, now it's like you low-key not even being consistent because it's not even the individual person. So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I got a question just bouncing off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So me personally, I don't know if this is just me, but when a white person tells me that they're not going to vote, that rubs me a very different way than a black person does. Because then to me, that often gives me the vibe of like, you don't care. Like, you don't care about the that people are going through. Whereas with like people of color, specifically black people, I'm like, okay, you likely feel that like, neither of the parties represent you, and that makes sense. But with white people, it's just like, bro, you built this system, you might as well like make mental change to help people that are being oppressed by it. I don't know. That's just my perspective. Like it really rubs me the wrong way when white people.
I think the only group of white people I'll kind of give lenience to would be like the working class people. Like if you're a white working class, you're working in a factory in Ohio, and the trade deals fucked you over. Depending on who you voted for, I'd be like, okay, if you're not voting in selection, all right, because both presidents supported trade deals with workers. So I'm like, if you're a white guy and you got fucked over by trade deals and you don't want to vote, okay. But if you're from Santa Barbara or you're from Manhattan and you're saying all this, then I'd be like, nah, bro, what are you doing? Get your ass in the voting booth, bro. Well, yeah, I can definitely see why you thought that for sure.
Nah, I feel you, man. It's like, well, because no matter who's president, they're gonna be okay. Like, what I'm saying? They're gonna be all right at the end of the day.
That's true. At the end of the day, they are gonna be okay no matter who's in office. This wasn't in the topics, but we can talk about the post office. I actually know a couple things about it, actually, just a couple. Like you mentioned, Bush was privatizing the USPS way back then. I looked into a law. It said in 2006 they passed a law where the USPS pre-funds the pensions for people. So basically, like the USPS has this burden of pre-funding these people's pensions, and that's a lot. That's a financial burden, and you lose money that way. And so when you start to see, oh, the USPS is losing money for 6 years straight, well, yes, because you passed that law in '06, and get this, the Democrats also voted for this as well, including Bernie Sanders, which was, I was like, damn, okay.
Wow. Okay.
Like, so it's my point. The point is, I guess the point is saying that the post office hasn't started with Trump. This has been, like you said, this has been going on since privatization was a thing. So, yeah.
It's just like a neo, like that's why I'm not a fan of like the left right now, because neoliberals are like honestly just capitalists that smile in your face and tell you that like, oh, it's gonna be okay, like you're gonna be all right. But yeah, you bring up an interesting point though, Ren, because like if you have white privilege, like why, and you say you're for black and brown people, like why don't you use it to the way that it's been sold to you? You know what I'm saying? Like we know, I personally don't believe that like the vote is for the presidency is really gonna change the outcome of like black and brown people. But like if you got white privilege and like you said, you live in one of these little states and shit like that, like maybe your vote will, I don't, you know, it's just use that shit, use your white privilege, bro.
To create like any incremental change at that point, because you know, like you're benefiting from this shit. If you could create any incremental change for someone that doesn't have the privilege that you do, then use that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me personally, that's another reason why I'm voting, because you know, obviously, I'm privileged as an Asian American, you know, so yeah, like I benefit from the system, so I might as well help change the system a little bit. Like obviously, I'm gonna be supporting the grassroots, the people working on the grassroots, but I'm also gonna work within the electoral system to, you know, help people that don't have the privilege I do as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna bring up something, but I completely forgot. Oh, talking about white people. Yes, that's what it is. White privilege. Doctor, I don't like talking about Dr. Umar as much. I kind of just want to see him as a joke because I see him as like a right-wing Pan-Africanist. You know what I mean?
Facts. Hotep
Right.
ass people.
He's a Hotep guy. He's a right-wing Pan-Africanist. This is pretty funny, but it's not. But like it's because he used to be joking to me sometimes. I don't know, but he's serious. But he did bring up a point where it's like white people should not be protesting in the streets with black people. They should be they should be at the Capitol. Like remember how white people were when the shutdown first arrived, and then they came in the Capitol buildings, like yo, open it back up and had their guns out. They're in the Capitol doing. They were in the streets. They're in the Capitol in front of politicians. But if you look at the police protests and what's been going on, you don't see many white people in Capitol buildings. They're just out in the streets with us. And Umar Johnson was saying like, yo, you should have done the same thing these conservatives were doing, where y'all take your ass to the Capitol building and demand, Breonna Taylor's, getting arrested, something like that. And I thought that was probably one of the best things Umar Johnson has probably said. I just wanted to point that out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
They're not the same energy when it has to do with, helping out other people that aren't like them.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to do what's fun. Like at the end of the day, most white people just want to do what's fun and what is going to get them some likes on like Instagram and stuff like that. And just show up in like cosplay activism. Like, oh, look at me. Like I'm in the streets with like alongside like radicals and like alongside people who really want liberation of their people. Like I'm alongside them. So that makes me like a radical, right? But it's like, this shit is not fun, bro. Like doing grassroots work is not fun. Protesting is not fun, bro. Like I remember when I went to that candlelight vigil in IV and I saw like some white people like laughing, having a good time. It just like, that shit really hurt, bro. Cause like this shit is not for fun. This shit is not for like a look. This like some people, the people who really believe this, like it's out of necessity of survival, bro. It's not like on some like like I'm an activist, like I'm so fucking cool, like. And I think that's what a lot of like privileged white people or just privileged people in general are trying to get out of it. And it's just really, it's upsetting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We talked a lot about politics or whatnot. You guys any other takes, Sekou? Anything?
Not really. Just kind of going off of what Mikey said. I've always viewed as like white privilege as like you have like blinders on in a way, because you don't really see the threats and things that make people of color struggle once you have that like white privilege like built in. You know, you have like the generational wealth of like years. And then so you probably don't have any trouble paying for school, but then person of color has to go through that methods and work multiple jobs. So for someone to go to that protest and then co-opt that movement for fun, it kind of like demeans the movement and undercuts it, because that's the whole purpose of it, to open your eyes to that, to your white privilege, and then use it for good. So yeah.
No, I feel you 100%. That's exactly what I meant by that. Like, it's just makes you mad because like you shouldn't be having fun at a candlelight vigil to like honor people who were slain by police violence. Like, I don't. If you find fun in that, like, you should have just stayed your ass at home because you obviously don't care. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit before we get into Palestine, real quick. I mean, Mikey, I heard I wasn't there because I was back home already, but I heard that you started like a march, like a protest kind of thing in IV. You want to talk about that for a little bit and just talk about what you did?
Yeah. So it was right after. It was the weekend after George Floyd was slain. Rest in peace to George Floyd. And that whole week, it was just like, you know how IV is, like IV Twitter and SB Twitter. They gonna get their jokes off. They gonna get like their like 2 cents off no matter what. You know, like on some stupid shit, like not like aware of stuff like that. And then I just saw that people weren't really like aware, so I was like, man, fuck that. Like, I organized that protest fast because it wasn't. It was more for like black people like on our campus, because like we were the ones that were on Twitter that were talking about it and just like making it like a thing, because it was a huge deal. Like, we're in the middle of like the worst quarter ever in my opinion, like pandemic, like no jobs for nobody, and it was just all bad. So it was more like that's why like for the first 2 hours of like the protest, I just let black people speak, you know, like I wanted to center our voice. And you should have heard like some of the like speeches or like some of the things that people were saying. It's like, damn, some of those people have been there for 4 years, just like me, or 5 years, and never had their voice centered in Santa Barbara. So it was more just to like let people know that like Santa Barbara, we got black people there, and y'all gonna listen to us at the end of the day, because like we still here, and this is our space too. So if you like, y'all got to show up for us, because this shit is something's got to shake. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was about mostly.
I got one more question before we get into Palestine, because I heard criticisms of the protests from my friends saying like, yo, we didn't even go to the police station. Like, we wasn't even in a police station like that. We were just walking around. I was like, damn, like what? So what y'all marching for? Like, because y'all not going to the police station. I mean, if you want to address that, that's on you. But I was like, damn, is that what really happened? Like, want to talk about that for a little bit, or?
Yeah. So I mean, who am I to, let's see, walk my people? Like, it was to like honor Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and the countless other lives. Who am I to like lead my people to the police station when it's mostly like you want me to take all the black students who are like such a small population from UCSB straight to the police station, when it's like, if that was a criticism from a black person, like I'll totally welcome it, because nobody's above criticism, and I always welcome that shit.
I was black.
So, like, you want me to walk my people straight to the police when you had saw what had just happened and all this police violence that has been like thrown into our face? Like, that's kind of like a take where it's like, I'm not trying to reopen trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna walk no black person to the police, and I'm not going, like, that's not on me. I'm not gonna do that.
Oh no! See, the criticism, it just came from good faith. It wasn't like attacking or anything. It was just like
yeah,
and it came from a black person, so it was just So anyway,
that makes sense. Like, because I remember you saying like I don't want to see no white people throwing shit, like starting up any violence and shit, because that's gonna put black people in harm at first. I'm sure it was probably the same reasoning for you not wanting to go to the police station.
Yeah, if you were there, there's probably like, I don't know how many people, but I'm sure it was like less than 100, like, or maybe like 100, around 100 of them were black. So when shit got popping, I didn't have an exit plan for my niggas. Like if the police, like if we were there,
That makes
like
sense.
white people started to attack the police, like
That makes sense.
I didn't have that exit plan to like get my niggas out of there and not get hurt. So why would I even try to incite that violence? That was kind of some of the reason why like I didn't want to even have the police like around at all.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the Palestine Middle East deal. Seiko was talking about it before, off air for a little bit. I know you want to talk about, basically give us a little context, what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah, so for a little while now, Israel has been annexing the, I guess, territory of Palestine, Palestinians, and the leader Netanyahu recently signed a peace deal with the surrounding area to stop the impressment, stop the torture, stop the bulldozing of their culture temporarily. He signed it with Donald Trump, I think, about a week ago. But the deal is like performative and it's very temporary because they're still going to do the same thing. And I originally thought that it was for Trump to be allowed to be, for Trump to use that towards his reelection, because I feel like he desperately needs a win in foreign policy because he's been taking shots from everywhere. He's having a bad time handling coronavirus, having a bad time handling Russia. He's like buddy with them, which is like really sus. What else? He's sending troops against citizens while they're protesting. So I felt that like he did that for also to preserve his connections with Israel and to just get some win that he can like claim, and that's what I thought.
Makes sense. We talked about this earlier too, but like my perspective on that, like it does seem like Trump is definitely trying to do this for re-election, which is the case for everything that a president ever does. I feel like this wouldn't really help him at all because most of the people, as far as I know, that really care about the Israeli and Palestine issue are younger people that pro-Palestine who aren't going to vote for Trump anyways, or people that are Israeli or Palestinian, which Israelis and Palestinian people tend to be left-leaning, right? Both of them do, but it's just a matter of like Palestinians are usually more progressive and Israelis are more establishment. So I don't know. I feel like this doesn't really help him unless he's trying to capture like the Jewish vote or something, which I don't think is really going for him because he's the supporter of neo-Nazis and shit. So
He's probably, I don't know what Trump is thinking. I think he's desperate for a win because he ran on ending the wars in the Middle East. He ran on, ending the wars and he hasn't done that. So now he's looking for some way to, and he can't run on North Korea because, I mean, yeah, he was trying to get some kind of thing going on, but people see North Korea as a bad place anyway. So that's not going to work. You can't run on that. So yeah, like Sekou and Rin said, I think this is just another avenue for him to try to claim, oh, I did something on foreign policy that was positive. I think that you talked about Russia. We're not going to talk about Russia, but I I have this feeling that Russia. This is my belief. We're not going to talk about this, but it's my belief that Russia had really nothing to do with the elections. That's just me. That's me. I'm gonna go for as that. And the whole Russia bounty thing. I don't know if you guys heard about the Russia bounty thing. I don't think that's a thing, but we don't have to talk about that right now. But that's just me. But anyway, back to Palestinians. Yeah, this is just Trump's way of saying, "Hey, I found something good." So yeah.
Yeah, I was unaware of that deal. I'm surprised that Trump even tried to do something that would go against like what exactly the deal? Like you said, it was more like annexing, like or divesting some of Israel's power. So is it pro? Is it in favor of
It
Palestine, or
was
is it like
the thing. It was framed as, oh, they're gonna stop this occupation, like it's gonna be a stop, and then Netanyahu says, oh no, we're still gonna be doing occupations. So yeah, it was a bogus deal. They're still gonna do it. So that's That's what I'm hearing. I think Sekou said it. You said there was going to be like a temporary stop on the bulldozing of Palestinian property and homes. Yeah, but that's basically what the deal was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So performative, like basically like all performative. Yeah. Yeah.
Which
That's the U.S. for you.
Nice.
You try to act like the international police and shit when we're not really even doing shit.
Man.
Honestly, I think it's kind of a objectively bad move because like for one, like obviously he's claiming that he's doing something good for Palestinians, but if he isn't going to do anything for Palestinians, maybe delay it for a little bit, and then the same shit's going to happen, which Trump isn't going to get involved in. Like he's not going to stop them altogether. So I think it's just a bad thing because it supports the image of like America as the foreign police, and America steps in to help other countries, and us as like this white savior type shit. Because we've seen it in South America, we've seen it in the Middle East all the time, we've seen it in Asia. Like America just loves putting its hands in shit and usually making shit worse.
Yeah, like I always talk about like, bro, like I cried. I don't know if I said on the podcast. I told someone like I was in the history class and we watched a documentary on Patrice Lumumba, and he was a socialist in Africa. I forgot which country.
Congo.
And basically, it's a documentary about like how the CIA and Belgium took him out. And then I didn't know how hurt I was, but I walked out and I called someone like, "Yo, did you know this and this happened?" And then I started crying like, "Yo, like the U.S. is really meddling in other people's countries for no reason." Like,
Yeah, and I think like that Palestine deal kind of takes away from like what the United States is doing in Venezuela right now, because I think that the Venezuela like crisis right now is way more important for like liberation politics than like this like performative deal that Trump is doing. Like they're they're like staging, like they're setting the foundation to stage a coup out there in Venezuela, and nobody even is even really too aware of that. Like hella shit has been going on in South America. Like we know we've been known that shit is going on in the Middle East, but it's just wild how like while this president is doing, or like any president per se are doing these performative deals, they're staging a coup somewhere to like secure some better fossil fuel deals and like doing some shit like that. So it's just like all like I feel like it's all like smoke up in the air. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of like makes you wonder, like, damn, why are they doing this? Like, what was the reasoning behind this one?
it's all about one America in the entire world. That's the whole thing. Like, just try to be like everybody, like westernized. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. But yo, we're done with politics. I think that we went at it for like I don't know how long, but we got some fun shit. We got the I don't know if you guys heard about this one. I don't know, Mike. I don't know if you heard about this, but the Phoenix Suns. Now we know about them going 8-0. we don't know how they went 8-0.
Oh man,
they had like a less than 1% chance of getting 8-0, but we don't know how they did it. But we found a quote. We found a culprit. I don't know her name, but she's an IG model. She was on the No Jumper podcast talking about how she was basically fucking this Suns employee, and then one thing leads to another, and then the whole Phoenix Suns team just walked in on her and and sucked 7 dicks.
Yeah.
That's just put it bluntly, man.
D-Book was the first one too. D-Book went 9-0.
Man, oh man.
And they deserve it, bro. They had a good playoff run, bro. They deserve a couple wins. I saw some I saw some tweet. They said so 7 dudes really sat around waiting with their pants down for their turn. Like I don't know how you get in that situation, but I guess props to the Suns for even like how this got out. But yeah.
That team chemistry just 100%.
The weird thing about it is, I don't think this is the first time it happened because she said it like walked into the room and just waited for her to finish and took their turns. Like, So I'm just thinking, like, these motherfuckers are that comfortable to be doing that. Like, they just got their dicks out, waiting around for the other one to get, to nut on this girl so that they can get their chance next. Like, hold on, how are y'all this comfortable with each other? Like,
Tell you, man, it's building that team chemistry. But go ahead. You got something to say?
I just saw how like somebody tweeted like it probably wasn't even the Suns. It was probably like just a bunch of niggas who said that they were on the Suns. The Suns are hella trash. It's like hella niggas that said they were on the Suns and weren't even on the Suns. And I was just sitting back. Like, I was wondering, I'm like, did these niggas really do that? Or like, the Suns, unless you tapped into the NBA, like you don't really know who are on the Suns. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn.
That this woman wasn't tricked into that shit because like them niggas like. I feel like you could just get a group of your tall homeboys and be like, yeah, we're the Phoenix Suns. That shit, bro.
God damn.
I don't know. I don't know. that shit, like, obviously Twitter's going to have their jokes, but I was the jokes, and I'm like, damn, like, who fucking knows the story behind that one?
oh,
That changes things. Damn.
I'm trying to figure out the words because her homegirl was like, "Oh my gosh, she's so shy," and I'm like, "What? You just talking? You're just talking some things." And then, bro, there was some people talking about. I forgot. I don't know who hosts the No Jumper podcast. He was like, "Yo, so where did all the nuts go?" And I'm just like, "What kind of question is that?"
that's that Adam 22 guy.
Adam
That dude. Bro. Hey, all these big like hip hop head podcast hosts are so weird when they talk to girls, bro. Like we already know about Charlamagne.
Charlamagne's been weird.
Nigga's a weirdo, bro. Charlamagne, I don't fuck with Charlamagne. I don't really fuck with that whole podcast because I feel like that whole platform is just weirdo central, bro. So it's just like, how you what are you doing, bro? Like you're a grown ass man. Like that's like a joke people say, but like, that's the question like that you asked. Like, all right, bro.
Bro, like remember when Charlamagne asked Logic about his sister?
Nah.
Bro, wait, remind me.
Trigger warning right here. Trigger warning, sexual assault. He was like talking to Logic, and out of nowhere in the middle of the interview, he was like, "So who raped your sister?"
That's ridiculous, bro.
Wait.
Out of pocket, bro.
And another trigger warning, sexual assault is like this dude Charlamagne, like he had a case in the past too, where
I heard
it sounded like I think he committed sexual violence against a black woman, and like the fact that he has such a huge platform and like he talks violently towards trans people, like you just hear some of these like talking heads be talking about some of these issues, and it's just like, man, like I don't want to hear your take on none of this shit, bro, because you're up, like you sounded like a up, you've been moving like a up, so yeah. I don't know too much about that Adam 22 guy, but yeah, he I don't really know too much about his podcast either, but that video that surfaced, I was like, damn, what are they talking about? What's going on over there? Like, what is going on over there?
And like, how do you even know to get that girl on? Like, what is she famous for to have her on the podcast in the first place?
Exactly.
I don't fucking know, bro.
I've seen some episodes of Adam 22's podcast, and I think he just takes anybody that's like, he just takes anybody. Like, I saw this one, you guys remember Boom Game, like a while ago?
Yeah.
Instagram, like, prankster?
Model citizen now.
Yeah. There was this one video where he was like being interviewed, and he was getting his ass beat by like, I don't know what he was on, like perks or something like that, but he was just like out of it. He was like out of it, and I was like, the interview was still going on, like he was barely making any like words you can understand them, and like I really don't think like Adam 22 like cares about who he interviews as long as it gets like
that clickbait shit.
Like he's like definitely on morals or anything like that. So
yeah.
Bro, some of the Twitter jokes were just funny, and then some of the takes were just like, bro, what the fuck? Like, people, obviously there's men on there like, this is why I don't want to have a daughter, and I'm just like, bro, now you're just, what are we doing here? Like, now you're just sexualizing her, like,
not even born yet.
Not even born yet.
That hasn't been born yet. Like what? One situation, like even so, even if your was doing that, why are you in your daughter's business?
That's on some like Ti shit. Like that's the
Yeah.
same niggas that like probably looked up to like Ti when he like disrespected, like he disrespects his children in like hella ways. Like I feel what he did to his daughter, that shit is dead. And just like that whole segment, like obviously like niggas are gonna get their sons jokes off and shit like that, but like it also brought up like hella whorephobia and shit like that. Like just bro, like it's the same shit that happened with WAP, bro. Like a lot of niggas just hate on women who like take on their like sexual liberation, bro. Like at the end of the day, like she's doing her thing. That shit didn't hurt me. And like if you don't want to have a daughter because of a woman doing her thing, like you probably shouldn't have one in the first place anyway. Like that shit, that take is dead. That take's been dead, bro.
Bro, I heard the worst take on that WAP video, bro. And the dude said, yo, he basically had that same critique he had with hip hop, basically. Black people talk about hip hop. He was like, the WAP is gonna increase the crime rates in the black community. I said, bro, what?
What is that? What?
This is a black man saying this, by the way. It's not a white person. It's a black man saying this. Like our daughters are gonna be doing this and that. It's gonna increase the crime rates of the black community. I said, oh my god.
What kind of?
If NWA didn't increase black on black crime, what the fuck is WAP gonna do?
Small, bro. Niggas just what is, I don't even know how you come to that conclusion, bro. Like, look, this dude was jumping through hoops to get there, bro. Damn.
The mental gymnastics was gold medal levels, bro. Like, but anyway, like back to the Suns thing. Like, I was thinking like, and I was agreeing with some people like, yo, I'm not gonna stand around with my dick out with 7 other guys or 6 other guys. Like, I'm not unless I'm going first. Like, D-Book was smart; he went first. So,
Allegedly.
I'm like, look, I'm not gonna be the last person. I'm like, y'all got it. I'm out. But if I'm going first, all right, I guess you're going first, and that's cool. But I can't be around. I can't wait. I'm not in one hotel room. I just can't.
Yeah. Like, why is everybody coming after the girl when it's not like 6 dudes waiting in line?
Right, bro. It's like they all got money. Y'all can each get your own. Like,
facts. Wait, was this at the bubble or was it like before? Like
before the bubble. You saying before the bubble?
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, nah. The NBA would have been whoop. Nah. I don't know. Like that whole. I try not to have too much attention on that shit because of some of the texts I'll see, and I'm like, man, this shit. Let me just watch my Lakers win the title, but it was just that shit brought up hella shit that was a lot. I'm like, damn, bro, like this shit is crazy.
And then like the shit continued because we can segue into this one. We're gonna talk about the Lakers next, but I think it's a good segue. We talk about Trey Songz because the Trey Songz he's involved with the same girl. I was talking about the Suns. So, I didn't believe it at first. Like, oh, she's involved with Trey Songz. Like,
damn.
I didn't believe it at first. And then Trey Songz comes out on Twitter and posts all these text messages, and we're saying that the girl called him a nigga. And I'm like, bruh, you let a white girl call you nigga?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I'm gonna believe like any woman who says some shit about like a man in power, because he already has that position. So it's like niggas are gonna believe them no matter what. So like, I'm automatically gonna believe the survivor just because like, I'm pretty sure if she didn't just say that for no clout or nothing, bro. Because the Trey Songz stands are gonna come after her ass, or like the apologists are gonna come after her ass too. Because you see like people really be coming after survivors on some like, oh, like what the fuck shit, like nah. So like that nigga Trey Songz, it seems like he might be on that like weirdo tip, like for sure.
Oh, let me clarify something. I didn't say like I didn't believe her like victims. It was more like because she was on IG saying I'm on OnlyFans with Trey Songz sucking dick. I was like, that part I didn't believe. I was like, bro, Trey Songz, you got 10K followers, you got Trey Songz on here.
That's how I felt about the Trey Songz thing. I didn't know that it was like a sexual assault type thing. On her story, right after the story came out, she was like, my tape with Trey Songz on my OnlyFans right now.
Oh yeah, I saw a different thing on Twitter where after that shit came out, that like supposedly more people were coming out talking about Trey Songz like weirdo aggressive behavior, and that's why I didn't know what she said about him specifically, but like I feel like that kind of like opened up what Trey Songz had coming to him, because yeah, it seems like he's been moving hella weird.
I saw like a whole bunch of you know what's crazy is we were actually talking about Trey Songz in the last episode.
Oh shit.
Remember talking about, I talked about him. I was like, people always coming at like Megan Thee Stallion and like these women who like talk about their sexual sides of themselves in songs, but they don't come after people like Trey Songz.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
that point,
X.
but yeah, like Trey Songz, like I heard that he took like a hiatus from social medias for like 10 months because he had a sexual assault case, and then he came back like on his like activism wave and shit. Like, so that was really, really weird to me. Like, how you just gonna like completely like try to flip your image? Like, bro, we ain't forget this is the internet. Shit stays. Like, but yeah. I didn't even know about that past sexual assault case though until I found about this.
Yeah. Shit. I mean, we can talk about Tory Lanez, kind of just on that same wavelength. Talk about Tory Lanez is finally like she didn't need to do this because we all knew, but she had to because niggas like to make conspiracy theories. But Megan Thee Stallion confirmed that Tory Lanez indeed shot her in the foot. I didn't like how she had to come out with it because I feel like the real is gonna know.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. She felt compelled to do this because a lot of people relying on her name. So I'll take it as, I mean, I guess she did what she had to do in that situation. Like I can't begin to fathom what she was going through in these last 2 weeks.
Mm.
So I mean, her actions are justified in doing this. Releasing his his name, because at first she was like, I got shot, but then now saying his name, she's completely justified in my opinion. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, like people should have been known and like believe that Tory Lanez is the one that shot her, because like who else, bro? Like Kylie Jenner, Kylie Jenner and her best friend were the only ones there. I feel like if it was her best friend, there would have been at least one rumor about that, but it wasn't. We know it's not Kylie Jenner because she just made a music video with Kylie Jenner in it, so it had to be Tory Lanez.
And apparently she wasn't there, according to her.
Who was
at the time of the shooting?
Kylie Jenner?
Yeah, she said that it was me, Tory security, her friend, and Tory himself.
Oh,
she didn't mention Kylie. So I guess Kylie was already gone by that point. And they were like 5 minutes away from the house, from Megan Thee Stallion's house.
Damn.
So, and she said that, like, yeah, me and Tory were arguing. Like, actually, no, everybody was arguing. She wanted to get out the car and we just walk home. And then Tory is in the back seat and then rolls down the window and shoots her. So I was like, damn.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all, man. Like, it's like that, like, after already, like, coping with this trauma, she had to come out and still address this, like, which is, like, the problem that, like, a lot of fans, like, feel like they're owed an explanation on some shit that happens in their life. But it's just, like, I saw a tweet that kind of, like, hit it on the nail where if, like, Kylie would have said, if Kylie would have got shot by Tory Lanez, y'all would have believed it right away. Like, would have had no message on, like, this nigga, like, really shot me. Like, y'all believe me now? Like, that shit is weak, man.
And it's weak because, like, it's mostly black men on Twitter that were actually with the conspiracy theories, bro. It was literally just straight black men just talking about, show me the police report. Why is she dancing in the WAP video? Why is she still like, bro, like, are you serious? Like, and then they wonder why black men get, they get shamed by black women. They wonder why we get shamed by black women because, like, it's things like that.
And during that time, TMZ released video footage of her, like, after like the incident. You could see her limping. You could see, like, the blood on the floor, and you could see she was definitely in pain. And Tory Lanez was on the floor. It's like phased out or something like that. It's like, I don't know what more information do you need besides video evidence. Like, if you guys gonna, like, put Megan Thee Stallion on this pedestal. Like, why would you want to like discredit her like that?
Yeah.
She had no reason to lie. She just came off a #1 single with Beyonce. And I think before the shooting, she had another #1 with I don't know which song it was. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But she was coming off a #1, and she's successful. She has no reason to lie. She's the most popular artist right now.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to boost her image in any way.
And she didn't like call the police. Like people think like she didn't call the police to like protect Tory. Ooh, excuse me. But like she was protecting herself too. Like Black women are like victims of police violence just as much as Black men, if not like more. It's just like we don't hear about it. But like this whole like she's lying shit, like that take is it's just crazy, man. Like because it could have got blown up way more out of proportion. Like 4 Black people up in the hills with Kylie Jenner right there, and like man, that shit could have gotten real dangerous. Even though it was already hella dangerous for Meg, like it was wild. That situation, like if you're defending Tory Lanez at this point, like you gotta reevaluate yourself because that ain't the take for sure.
He's not coming back from this. He's not
Oh
coming
hell
back.
no!
Nah,
I think he's still in hiding or something like that. I don't know what's going
He's
on.
still in hiding. He hasn't said shit. Like he's not a big enough artist to make a comeback like Chris Brown has. You know.
Yeah.
He's not Chris Brown. He's Tory Lanez. The comeback is just not there. So he's basically giving himself the Biden treatment, just staying low as much as possible. I mean, damn, he went from quarantine radio to now he's just quiet. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he deserves everything that's coming to him. Like you shot Meg, like yeah, ain't no coming back. Like you deserve what's coming to you.
I saw this tweet that like I felt like kind of wrapped it up pretty well. It said Black women live at the intersection of police brutality and gun violence. Megan Thee Stallion was shot and terrified, yet still knew she couldn't trust cops to protect her. Yet in this traumatic state, she decided to protect Tory Lanez from the cops. If only we lived in a world that protected Black women. And I feel like that kind of, captures everything because not only is she scared for her own health because of like, she got shot in the foot and, she could eventually, like she could be paralyzed if it hadn't missed any tendons or bones or whatever. But also she's afraid for her own health and for Tory Lanez health. Like she basically protected Tory Lanez because she knew that if she called the cops, some shit would happen to either Tory Lanez or her or both of them. So that's awful. That's a sad reality that Black women have to face daily.
Yeah, I guess I'll just leave it off like, if Megan ever hears this, just want you to know you're loved. Glad that you're safe. Glad that you're healed. Just take your time. I mean, I don't blame you if you're not gonna make music now. I don't blame you. But whatever you do, it's justified. If you make music, if you don't, it's cool. Just be safe. Protect Black women as always.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I gotta say. I don't know. You got any takes? Not takes, but just any closing?
I have one little comment. It's kind of off topic, but it has to do with Meg. So I remember seeing this tweet. I don't want to make this my bird of the week because I kind of get where it's coming from. But there was this tweet where it was like I forgot. I think it was just talking in general about like male rappers, and it's like male rappers will get shot once and talk about it for like 11 years on 11 straight albums, and Megan Thee Stallion gets shot twice, once in both feet, and then drops the #1 single. And honestly, bro, like I feel like that was kind of a bird-ass tweet because, like, obviously, what Megan Thee Stallion went through is traumatic, but that doesn't take away from anyone else's trauma. And if someone else wants to profit off of being shot and talk about being shot in a song, then let them rap about being shot in a song. Like, like I don't want to use the example of 50 Cent because he has done some, questionable things, but dude got shot 9 times. Like, just an example. Say if it wasn't 50 Cent. If someone got shot 9 times, I'm going to let them talk about getting shot for as long as they want.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's just my take on it. I felt like that tweet was a little, I don't know, it's probably just meant to be funny and not actually meant to be analyzed like that. But, yeah.
All right. We're on to the even more fun topic. Actually, that last topic wasn't fun. That wasn't. Let me stop.
Nah.
Bad framing. But we got the Lakers. We're all Laker fans in here. We can talk about other playoff games if we want, but we can start with the Lakers first. So, any takes in the first two games? You guys excited? What's going on? How you feeling?
AD is finally playing like he's not a 5'10" shooting guard. I don't say point guard because he doesn't play like a point guard. Bro plays like a shooting guard, taking ways, trying to play like Kobe and shit. When he's 6'10" and stronger than anyone in the paint, like, bro, get your ass in the key, get your ass on the elbow. But he finally did it in the second game, and we won. So,
thanks.
With Braun putting up only 10 points, by the way,
thanks.
That shows chip worthy right there, bro.
Hell yeah.
Chip worthy.
I was looking at AD, man. I was like, game one, I said, bro, what are these shots you're taking right now? Like, you're not even starting off at the – like, I'd understand if you went to the basket first, but you're not even doing that. He's been shooting all game. There was 1 3 he took in game one. He took a shot over Nurkic, but he was open enough where you're not really bothered by that shot, but he still had the thing to just fade at the 3. And I'm like, bro, you're fading at the 3? What are you're not even jumping straight up. Like,
yeah.
So he wasn't aggressive in the first half in game one. And I mean, he got 21 in the first half in game one, but it wasn't like efficient. And I'm like, bro, if game 2 he plays like this, I don't know, he might go to 6. But game 2, like you guys said, he's getting to the basket, getting offensive boards. Like, yo, he played like a 5, like a center. And I was so proud.
Yeah, I don't know if that was more coaching or like more of like him just like taking it upon himself to finally take that 5 position. Because in the playoffs, bro, you're gonna have to play the position that makes you uncomfortable if it's gonna get your team to win. Because like those lineups, like Vogel's lineups, I'm not gonna put it all on AD, but he didn't play like the best game one. But the rotations were something else game one. And seeing, like, JaVale only play, like, 6 minutes in the first half and probably having AD up in there in that 5, like, playing that bully big brisket ball, like, oh, my God. Like, that shit made me hella happy because, like, he was playing, like, he acts like he weighs, like, 150 pounds or, like, he's, like, this nimble little, like, you know what I'm saying? But, bro, you're a monster. Like, own that shit. I think Bron must have told him like in the locker room that he's built different because when he said that yesterday in the game, I went crazy. I'm not even
different, bro.
That's what it is.
Built different, yeah.
I went crazy. Yeah, he looked built different yesterday at game 2. Yeah, that was hype.
I was disappointed. Like Dion didn't even get no run in game 1, bro. He played 1 minute. I'm like, bro, Dion's right there. We need some offense. Like, the defense is going to be there regardless. I'm not even worried about the defense. Like, our offense is shit right now. And he had 1 minute. I was like, bro, come on. Yeah. And even in game 2, Dion didn't come in. Like, J.R. Smith came before Dion. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But we won game 2 anyway, but I really hope Vogel isn't looking at J.R. Smith as better than Dion. Like, come on. Like, I was telling Ren before, like, Vogel is the opposite of D'Antoni. D'Antoni is going to look at all the analytics. He's going to put so much in the analytics for his game plans. Whereas Vogel is just going to be opposite. Like, he'll look at JaVale. He has, like, a negative plus minus. He's not effective in the starting lineup. And he'll be like, man, fuck it. We'll keep the big
He looked good second half yesterday, though. He was looking pretty good in the second half.
Yeah. But JaVale, I'm starting to learn that JaVale is only effective offensively. If he's not scoring, then he's a dud.
Yeah.
And game 2, JaVale actually had a decent game.
See, bro, I feel like it's the same with for JaVale and Dwight. Like, both of our centers are very touch dependent. While they don't need like the ball to operate, like they can get like rebounds and score. If they don't get their scoring going, then they're not going to play as good on defense. Best games are the games where he has like 15 points, because then he'll get you like 3 or 4 blocks and 10 boards. It's like, oh shit, put Dwight in the starting lineup. But the next game he goes like 1 for 3 or something, and he has like 0 blocks. Like their energy is dependent on how many touches they're getting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all want to talk on like, did y'all like what y'all saw out of the role players in game 2? Because the role players in game one, I was like, bro, we ain't never gonna get another championship. Like, the way KCP, I was like, damn, he's looking like 2018, 2019 KCP. I was like, my throat was dry. I was like, oh, this is not looking good.
I mean, look, I was defensively, I was proud defensively in both games. Is like because KCP and Denny Green were still trying on defense. So that part I was like, great. Like at least they're not like they haven't given up on the game, you know, they're actually trying on defense. So that part was encouraging. It was just like you said, dude, like KCP had 1 point in game one in 30 minutes, 30 fucking minutes. That pissed me off. I mean, even his shot selection wasn't great in game one. Like, I was like, dude, you don't even take these shots, dude. Like,
yeah, I was sick to my stomach because I remember when you and the boy Peter were talking about Caruso over Danny Green, and I was over here talking about don't worry, bro, play out Danny Green and go show. He gonna be out there locking up, hitting these wet balls, and then like this nigga Clink, he tipped the rim. He was throwing up so many bricks, bro. I was sick. I was like, I ain't never let this one down, bro. But game two, he put up the shots that he needed to put up. It wasn't just being like the worst guard I've ever seen in my life.
God.
That is.
Bro. Yeah, but the role plays was definitely the reason why we had a blowout, dude. Like KCP had 16 points, I think.
Hey, DG really pissed me off game two at the beginning. Like within the first couple minutes, bro pissed me off. He missed like 2 rotations within the first couple minutes. He claimed a 3-pointer, and then I think the very next position after missing a 3, he blows a fast break. Like he just loses the ball off his own knee or something within the first. Like, bro, fix this motherfucker right now. Take him out the game. I don't have enough time for this shit, bro.
He got like what? He got like 28 million or 30 million over these 2 years. I was sick. I was just sitting back in my bed, hella hot, just like I was out here defending this nigga. Now he just let me the fuck down. I was hurt, bro.
I think like this like next series will like bring out the best of Lakers, but and also the worst, because like we're playing against like the A seed, right? But like Bron's over here is like setting records, so I think that will help role players like succeed, because no matter what, Bron's still gonna be winning those like passing the ball around too much. But at the end of the day, they're still gonna bounce back, because the end of the season was a rocky start, and the role players are gonna save us, because AD is bound to get some kind of injury. But as long as he like isn't as fragile as he is right now, I think we'll be okay. But I'm excited for tomorrow's game.
AD was scaring the shit out of me, because there's a couple times he was holding his back, and then one time he was walking and he rolled his ankle in the stanchion. I was like, oh my god, AD, sit his ass out. We're already up 30 anyway. Just sit his ass out. And Vogel did that. Obviously, that's the obvious coach move. But AD was scaring the fuck out of me in the third quarter.
I think this is the biggest test. Like besides in the West, I think this might be the biggest test that AD is gonna face too, because Nurkic and Whiteside, they're good. Those are good fives. Like the Portland Trailblazers have good like big man, and like I think besides them, like if you look at it, maybe like Gobert on the Jazz, which I think that's gonna happen. But I'm excited to see Joe Ingles shut down playoff pandemic P like with his dusty ass shoulder. But yeah, I think that this is that first game loss. Like I call it a gentleman's sweep. Like the Portland Trailblazers were hot. And then I think Lakers finally woke the fuck up, because they was looking like sleep.
Sorry.
Big sleep. Yeah, man.
Oh man. Big shout out to Caruso once again. I was worried that his endurance was not going to be up there, because he doesn't play this many minutes.
Yeah.
But I'm great. This is great. Like, yo, his endurance is up. He doesn't look tired guarding Dame, running around, chasing Dame and CJ. So I'm really like, it's great that Caruso, maybe it's the fact that he got in foul trouble, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see that Caruso was actually, out there running around and not being tired. And, he was actually giving Dame trouble. Like, he looked frustrated.
Yeah.
Wait, Jude, is the episode recording right now?
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, for sure. The thing wasn't showing on my thing.
No, it shows on mine. You're good. We're good.
And then another thing too is that like I think that Caruso is being forced to play like a shot creator when he's like more of like an off ball type of guard, like more catch and shoot. Because like Rondo's still out. That's why Bron, he can't really score right now. Hopefully when Rondo gets back, like I don't know if I could really buy into the playoff Rondo. I'm hoping. Like I'm a Rondo believer, but I think Caruso can't really be playing off the dribble like that because you see his ball handling skills ain't really. That's not really what he's made for like that.
My only hope is that Rondo, if Rondo's going to be in the game, AD has to be at the 5. He can't be at the 4 and have Dwight at the 5. Like that can't work, bro. AD has to be. Like remember with the Pelicans, AD was at the 5, and Rondo was at the 1, obviously, and that worked great.
Hell yeah.
I'm saying the same thing. Like if Vogel's smart, he has to put Rondo and AD. They have to put him at 1 and 5. Has to.
Yo, I got a hot take actually.
Oh shit.
So I feel like if the Lakers win the championship, which I'm putting my money on, that AD is going to be the MVP, unless we face the Raptors in the finals, then it's going to be LeBron. Because the Raptors shut down Giannis last year, and if you think about it, AD, I mean, although he's bigger and not as agile as Giannis, they do have a pretty similar play style in terms of like they like starting at the up or the corner 3 and just driving it. So I feel like they'll do a pretty good job on AD. So if we win against the Raptors, it's going to be because of Braun. I actually think AD has the highest chance of getting MVP for us right now.
Probably, you're right. I think it depends. I think I have a slightly different take. I think it's like if the Bucks make it to the finals, then I see Bron getting it because looking at the Bucks roster, they don't have the defense to hold LeBron like that. I don't think DiVincenzo and Chris Middleton can hold LeBron. Because the Bucks front court, they have Brook Lopez, Giannis. They have big guys in the front court. So, but then if you look at the Raptors, low key, I mean, it's an old ass Marc Gasol. I mean, maybe Ibaka is probably your best defender on AD because he's quicker.
I mean, bro, this is the same stuff they were saying last year too. Marc Gasol is old as hell, and he was coming off an injury.
That's true. You're right. But I mean, if AD catches the ball in the perimeter, it's Marc Gasol out there by himself. Oh boy.
Yeah. Damn. Mikey's thing froze.
Oh, here we go. Here he is.
There we go.
One more hot take for y'all. I don't know if I said this the last episode, but Paul George is not a superstar.
Bro, he went there. Whoa.
Is an all-star. Paul George is an all-star at best, not a superstar. Everything that he's left has either become better or stayed about the same. The Thunder, bro, were projected to have a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs. And they're in the playoffs. Not even this 8th or 7th seed. What are they, the 6th seed or something?
6th seed. No, fifth. They're 5th.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I looked at his stats the other day, like advanced stats. If you look at most of his shots that he scores, a lot of them are spot up threes. He's not creating shots for himself. His best seasons were this season and last season with the Thunder, and those seasons were the seasons that he was just spotting up for threes.
Bro,
so best, he's just a shooter and defender, a really good shooter and a really good defender, which in my eyes is just a. Oh damn! What the hell? We got 2 Mikey videos right now.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, it's great.
All right.
Back to business.
But yeah, so at his best, bro, he's a really good 3-point shooter and a really good defender that doesn't have any other weaknesses in his game, like crazy weaknesses that keep him out of the game. So in my eyes, he's just a slightly better Klay Thompson.
Oh shit.
And I'd even argue that if you put Paul George on the Warriors instead of Klay Thompson, they'd get worse. And if you put Klay Thompson on this Clippers team, they'd get better.
Yeah, I can see that. Holy shit, let me see. I was looking at I don't know if you guys been paying attention to the Clippers Mavericks series, bro, but I was looking at Paul George, man. Game 2, he wasn't cutting it. I don't know what it was. because I'm in the belief that the Mavericks should be up 2-0. Because both games, they're offensively, I don't know what it is about the Clippers. They just haven't had an answer for them offensively.
Mhm.
And so I'm looking at Paul George. I'm expecting Paul George to heat up in the third and fourth quarter. Like, all right, Paul, this is your time. Kawhi is sitting down, and he's shooting up air balls. And I was like, oh, my God. And then then Reggie Jackson had the audacity to shoot threes. And I was like, damn, now this offense is terrible.
That ain't gonna do it.
And it gave me a positive reaffirmation because, like, I was looking at their closing lineup, dude, and their rim protection's ass. So I'm like, AD, this is if we face him in the conference finals, this is your time to, like, drop 40. Like,
Yeah.
Because they ran, Lou, I think Pat Bev was in game 1. So Lou, Pat Bev, Kawhi, Paul George, and Trez. That's shot blocking wise, rim protection wise, bro, that's AD's going to eat that.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I could buy into that take for sure, Ren, because like
Yeah.
you see what happened when he left the Pacers. They plugged in Oladipo. It seemed like the ship was still sailing. He left OKC, and they lost Russ too, and they still making him move. And I just think that like he's a definitely regular season all-star. Like I'm not gonna take away from his game and say he's a scrub because like that's some straight disrespect, but. Every time playoffs come around, it's shoulder pain and just waves of just being average. I think after what Dame did to him last season, I think it's kind of tough to just bounce back from that and be that dude, like for sure.
Once again, no clutch. What you need in the playoffs, because everyone's playing on 10. Even if they're missing shots, they're still playing on 10. You can handle that. So let's go.
Bro, do you see the post-game interview with Paul George, and he had the shoulder braces?
Yeah.
They're already playing up that narrative already for the excuses, bro. Because he just came up with 2 surgeries on both shoulders, so it should be fine. But then I see a whole brace on it. You're icing the whole thing, bro.
I don't know if Patrick Beverley was holding your team together, you got a problem, bro. Kawhi's knee is falling apart. Paul George's shoulder is falling apart. Like, y'all are – I don't know because it's playoff time and y'all have had enough time to rest. Because usually everybody's banged up for the playoffs, but everybody has had their time to rest. And now if you can't get it done now, you're probably not built for it, honestly. Like, yeah.
Another thing about playoff basketball is, you tend to take away like at least one of a team's options. Like that's what playoff basketball is all about. You take away one of the options. Like saw the Raptors get lucky and be able to do it with Giannis against the Bucks. And I'm not expecting us to take away Kawhi, but if we could take away at least PG or Lou Will, then and we know that they're not taking away LeBron or AD. Like you can't like those are players that you can't take away their game.
Yeah.
So what if they take away Kuzma? We're not giving a fuck. Like, that's still a dub.
Yeah, I think out of all the teams, though, that the Clippers are going to play, we're probably – like, the Lakers are probably the team that they're best built to match up with because, like, just looking at Luka, bro, like, that man has been a magician out there on the floor just making shit happen for his team.
I don't know.
Like you said, Jude, like, if they didn't take away KP for that first game, Mavericks are up 2-0, and it's just like, man, if y'all can't stop baby Luka and this KP, y'all ain't got a shot, bro. Yeah, y'all just hang it up and wait till next year.
Bro, Luka's the same guy that said, like, it's easy to score in the NBA. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about, bro? You're like 20 years old talking this big shit. Like, I liked it, but I'm like, damn, nigga, you on this, like, like you're I couldn't believe it, man. Like, and he shut me up. Like, I mean, he shut me up in the regular season, but in the playoffs, like.
Yeah, this dude, he's breaking Wilt Chamberlain's like playoff records, like rookie, like young player playoff records, like versus the Clippers, who are supposed to be the best defensive team in the NBA, quote unquote. Even though Lakers on paper are like Lakers are the best defensive team in the NBA, but like. You're gonna let this dude really come for Wilt Chamberlain? Like, damn.
42 in game 1, bro.
Disrespectful.
He got 42 in game 1.
Yeah.
I saw this tweet and I want to see if y'all agree with it. So if the Mavs win this series, then there's a case to be made about Doncic being better than Kawhi.
Bro, I seen that. I was like, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this
Nah.
though. I kept this to myself, but I'm gonna say it here. I was like, when LeBron retires, I'm definitely standing like Luka. Like that's gonna be my guy. Like I'll be a Laker fan still, but as a player, like I'm standing Luka after LeBron retires. Like that's
Luka's
gonna be
the
my
truth,
guy.
bro. You can't
So,
take
yeah.
over, man. I don't think I'm ready to say that yet, Ren. I don't think that's a pill I'm ready to swallow because that shit sounds crazy.
Let him win a chip first.
But look,
Yeah.
Let him win a chip first.
I'm willing to go where Ren is though. I'm willing to go there.
Look, my thing is I'm not ready to say it either. Like I feel like I feel honestly embarrassed to say this, but like if you really think about it, bro, the Clippers do have the better team. And the Clippers have more stars than the Mavs. And if the Mavs can win off one guy just fucking carrying them against the Clippers, then I mean logically their best player is better than the next team's best player. And that could just be for this series type thing. I'm not saying that he's better than Kawhi, like overall, but he's definitely playing like he's the best player in the world right now.
I'll say Luka over Kawhi if they win the series and Luka is efficient. If he's shooting like 50%, bro, and he's averaging 29, 30 points, he's averaging 30, 8 rebounds maybe, and 13 assists, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta go Luka over Kawhi.
I think I got my goggles on because Kawhi, he's from the IE too. He right here from Riverside, so it's tough for me to just take the crown off somebody who was my neighbor to this dude who's straight coming from Europe. But he balling though. Like I can't even take away from that. This dude is looking like he's the truth. And like another player I wanted to talk about was, as a Laker fan, it hurts me to say, but this dude, Jason Tatum, more and more, I'm starting to buy into this dude being a problem, bro. Like Jason Tatum is looking like a problem, honestly.
Oh, Tatum's up for sure. I mean, I'm still, Ingram's my guy, so I gotta stick with my guy Ingram on this one. But I definitely see what you're saying, though. Tatum's definitely a problem.
Because they're blowing out the 76ers, and Tatum is hella efficient during it. I forgot his stat sheet from last night's game, or like, he was looking insane, bro.
Bro, I don't know if you guys want to keep talking about the playoffs, but the Jazz beat the Nuggets. I had the Nuggets winning, but
No surprise. I don't know.
I think it's time to bring back the Jamal's a fraud agenda. Like he had me for one game. Game one, Jamal was like superb. Like he was hitting clutch shots. I said, "Oh, Jamal, maybe I was wrong about Jamal." And then 2 and 3, I'm just like, "God damn, Jamal, I was right." I was a little too quick.
I didn't watch that game.
Nah,
I watched game 2. I watched game 1, but I didn't see today's game.
Yeah, the Nuggets got blown out. 87 points to 124?
That's bad.
Ooh, damn, they got smoked. Damn.
And Utah has no Bogdanovich, so.
Let me see this stat sheet right here. Oh yeah. It's not looking too good for Jamal. I don't know.
Wait, I got something to say real quick about Doncic. I saw this funny ass tweet. I think it was Biz that retweeted it. And it was like, we're letting Luka Doncic play like he's the best player on the planet with Black Lives Matter written on the floor.
Bro.
You hate to see that one.
I was crying. And against an LA team too, bro.
Bro, you hate to see these Europeans beating 2 niggas from SoCal. Just like,
You're all dark skin, bro.
They are. Yeah. It's a deep NBA state. That deep NBA, Illuminati shit. Like, yeah, get them a couple games. We gotta show them, bro. Yeah, I think the Clippers are still gonna clutch it out. I don't see these vets really fold into a young Luka. When they got the refs on their team already, it's looking like. So I don't think it's gonna happen this year. Like I'm gonna support Luka just like y'all, but like this ain't the year. This ain't the year.
Facts. All right, I see it.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're one piece away from being like a serious title contender though. The way that they've been playing.
And they got deep pockets too, you know, like that. They got an owner with deep pockets. They got young stars. It looks like the pieces are in place right now for them to be special.
Yeah, players love coming to like Texas because they don't got that income tax. So you get that supermax in Dallas, then you're set. So if anybody wants that money, you get a chance at a title with Luka Doncic, and you get tax-free money.
Yeah. But a big surprise of the playoffs for me has been this dude Mike Conley. Like he started playing today, and he was looking like what I've been thought since he was trapped in where was he at before?
Memphis?
Yeah, he was trapped in Memphis, and like you see Gasol, he got out of Memphis and got his ring, and it looks like Mike Conley got out of Memphis too, and he's looking like he's revived. He just had a kid. And I don't know if you saw that picture of him holding his baby, and it was it looks like Mike Conley was the one that gave birth, and that was pretty funny. But he looks like he's playing happy. He looks like he's ready to be back in the game. So that was a happy surprise.
37 points and 4 assists with 0 turnovers, and he was 80% too.
Ooh.
I was just blown away. I was like, damn.
Everything.
If it's one thing about Mike Conley, he's not gonna turn the ball over, bro.
Yeah.
He's not gonna turn it over.
Yeah, I remember I had him on my team last year because I got like a player's moments card, and this dude he's a player, bro. That man is a piece if you know how to use him right.
Yeah.
That's just me overconfident 2K talking, but what's new?
Oh man. So, anything else before we close this off, or what?
Do we have any more topics?
That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
Bird of the week.
Bird of the week, then. All right, bird of the week. We got a lot of candidates.
Yeah.
14 days.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay.
So it was actually one of my old friends from high school. Me and dude used to be like close to shit. You know, he's always giving me some weird vibes, like he lacks empathy. He's an Indian dude, not Punjabi, thank God. So not even worse representation for us, but I'm not gonna claim him. But on his Snapchat story, he shows a snap of like Kamala Harris at the DNC, and he's like, "Ma" or some shit like that. And I'm like, bro, I replied to him, I was like, she isn't someone to be proud of. And he's like, why? And I go off about her like record and shit, about the truancy and shit. And like, I've learned that she didn't actually put anybody in jail. I'm not sure how true that is, but still, like, regardless, at the basis of it for the truancy thing, it's like, you're scaring these fucking parents. Like, you shouldn't have to fear parents into thinking that they're gonna go to jail and traumatize them. Like, for a lot of them, they already have such a terrible relationship with the prison system. You're just gonna put fear into them that they will go to prison. And a lot of the time that their kids aren't going to school is because they're working and they can't be at home. So a lot of the time these people have to like quit their jobs or take less hours and shit just so that their kids can go to school. Like, why don't you provide the families with resources to make sure that their kids do get to school? But yeah, he was like trying to justify that, saying that sometimes you have to make people be scared of things so that they'll listen. It's like, come on, bro. Like, that's a. And then I talked about like the weed thing. He was like, some people have different views on substances, and I was like, so it's okay to fucking imprison people that haven't hurt anybody by having grams in the freaking pocket. So, that was just the kind of the last.
Some people are just too hard-headed, bro. Like, I don't get it, man. Some people are just hard-headed.
Identity politics right there, bro. That's like an Indian person being happy of, just having an Indian vice president and not looking at the record or even justifying the record just because they're Indian. Like, come on. Like, that's not it.
Yeah.
I got my bird of the week. I didn't want to do this to old boy, but I couldn't, man. I gotta call him out. No one's above critique here. I gotta make my bird of the week LeBron James. I just have to, bro. It's just, at first I had a bird of the week, but I forgot who it was. But I was like, okay, but LeBron did this, or we going game 2. So let me tell you what I got for word of the week. First of all, game one, the whole team is wearing these MAGA spin-off hats. Now I learned that actually it wasn't Bron's idea. I think it was either JaVale McGee's idea. So I'm like, all right, bro. Okay, so all right, all y'all word of the week for that one. But really, I'm giving it to LeBron though, because he came back before game 2, and we see pictures of him reading that Malcolm X book, the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Page 1.
Page 1. Oh, like I was like, dude, and then I was like, all right, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he learned some things. And then shout out to Taylor Rooks from Bleacher Report, took him to task, asked him, hey, so what are your takeaways from this book that you read? And and LeBron has the book at the fucking at the post-game interview, or not post-game, practice, after practice. He has it out with him so he's already being extra with it. And he goes, well, he didn't do the reading. So he's just there like, well, I think he's a hero. And I was like, that's it. He's a hero. He also said he's saying the things that are relevant today. And I was like, this is come on, bro. You didn't do the reading.
I've been there before in class.
Hey.
Damn, bro.
Y'all been there.
On the world stage. Shit.
Oh, man. You can tell he's just thinking of the words to say. And I was just like, dude, you just didn't do the reading, bro.
Bro, and he's been on the same page for 4 days now. Because he was like about on the first page when he that picture.
Mm-hmm.
That interview that he had the same day, he said that he had started the book a couple of days ago, right? So that's 2 days there. And then today, which is 2 days later, he's on the same book, on the same page in his story with the bookmark. Like, bro, why are you taking this everywhere you go and you're still on the same page? You read like 10 pages. Like, come on now. Oh, I'm going to have to double down on that Bron thing. He's also a bird for game 1. While he did set a record, or like he set a record for himself in terms of playoffs or I think it was assists in the playoffs game for himself. That was one of the highest that he's had. But I kind of put part of the blame of game 1 on him. He should have been more assertive.
Fair. That's fair.
Like, at a certain point, you can't distribute the ball when everybody's missing shots. You just got to take over, and he didn't. So
that's fair.
All right. My bird of the week isn't like a person, but it's a company. It's AMC. And I heard that they were opening movie theaters again, but for 15 cents. So they said you can still get COVID-19, but you can come watch movies for 15 cents. Like, I feel like I thought it was a joke at first, but it was an actual article about it. Like, you get like mirror seating and shit, but I'm not going to risk 15 cents to get the virus, bro. Like, and I don't think anybody else is either. So I just thought that was like funny to me, and they deserve that bird for shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off you, and I'm gonna just say my bird of the week is more a group of people, and it's those Telfar resellers, because it looks like
that's a good one, bro.
That unlimited pre-order, like, it's crazy because I already like I'm not a fan of reselling like J's and stuff like that, but it makes a lot of sense. But these purses, like, they took an approach of like, this is for everybody, and like they didn't want resellers, so it seemed like they figured it out by like doing that unlimited pre-order shit. So I'm just laughing watching, like, picturing like a nigga like up in his room with hella purses, just like going outside, and you're gonna have to hold that L for a minute because you did that one to yourself, Chief.
Dude.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is kind of bird-like, because the whole thing, like, even on the website, they're like, we want to make things exclusive, but in a very different way. Like, they don't hike up the prices. Like, they're affordable. They're very affordable. The only thing is that they have like limited releases, and then you see people here jacking up the prices like 5 times the original price and shit. Come on now.
Man.
Yeah, but I appreciate y'all for having me on this week. It's cool having the first podcast experience with the homies, and I know y'all some real niggas, and like, I'm gonna keep rocking with this podcast, and I know it's only gonna elevate from here, and I appreciate y'all for having me on, man. Much love.
Much love. Thank you so much, man. Thank you everybody that listened in. This has been episode 28 of Six Sense Podcast.
Ooh.
Everybody subscribe.
By the time this episode's out, we're probably gonna hit 2K plays.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
facts. 2,000 plays on here. Yo.
Okay.
Hey, shout out to y'all, man. Keep listening. Keep watching the YouTube videos. We're probably well beyond 2K if you include YouTube, but
Yeah.
shout out to y'all, man. It's really been an amazing journey. That's it for the episode, though.
Yeah. All right, then, y'all. Peace.
Enough.